I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, January 17th, 2020, Brooklyn City Board of Education regular meeting. Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Bartczak.
Here.
Mr. Cyngier.
Here.
Ms. Krall.
Here.
Mr. Slattery.
Here.
Mr. Neale.
Here. Pledge of allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item's going to be handoff to Dr. Caleres for a correction.
Yeah, Mr. Neale, Board of Education, we left off an agenda item that we tabled last board meeting.
Correct.
So I would recommend that we add to board business, this would be the new 7.1, motion to approve Ohio School Boards Association membership for 2023.
Okay. Have a motion, please, for that.
So move.
Amendment. And second? Anybody else? Someone want to second it?
Second.
All right, thank you. Mrs. A, could you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Bartczak.
Yes.
Mr. Cyngier.
No.
Ms. Krall.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yeah.
Mr. Neale.
Yes. All right, thank you, appreciate that. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation as it pertains to school-related topics will be permitted at each meeting. Each person wishing to address the board will approach the podium, state his/her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person will be allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had an opportunity to do so. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board. Anybody? All right. We're going to move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Caleres.
Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you to this evening's board meeting. Just a few comments this evening. I'd like to thank our students and staff, administrators for a great first semester. We are 3 days away from finishing the first half of the school year, so just congratulations to all our hard work so far this school year. Just a reminder for our families and our students, there is no school this Friday for students. It is a staff in-service records day. January is school board, Ohio School Board Recognition Month, and in light of that, a couple comments regarding Board of Education and the work that you do for us. School board members exemplify local citizen control and decision-making in education. They volunteer hundreds of hours and an immeasurable amount of energy to ensure that our schools are providing the best education possible for the children of the Brooklyn community. For all of their education, we are taking this opportunity to show them our appreciation due during School Board Recognition Month. Been back in the school district 3 years. Board of Education works tirelessly for our community, for our students, and I just want to thank all of our members for supporting our students, our staff, and our administrators in everything you do. So again, just want to say thank you, and I appreciate all the work we do together. And Mr. Neale, those are my comments.
Thank you. On to the treasurer's report, Mrs. A.
I have a very short report, normal. The end of the fourth quarter hit for December, so the Ohio checkbook is up to date as of January 9th. Oh, that's all. And thank you for school board members. We appreciate you. Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you. On to board members' committee reports. We're going to start with Mr. Cyngier.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I don't have any report, other than anybody has any questions about the Ohio School Board Conservative Coalition. We're having a luncheon on February 5th. We expect to have about 40 school board members and candidates attending at J. Bella's in Strongsville, and that starts at noon. You're all welcome to attend. The cost is $25, and you get a bonus. My daughter will be serving.
There you go. It's February 5th?
February 5th, it's a Sunday.
All right.
And a report.
Thank you. On to Ms. Krall.
I just wanted to say, I know it's late, but this is our first live meeting, Happy New Year. Condolences to both the Linger and Belina families. Just a couple of things. One, the musical this year is Sister Act, and I know they're still looking for volunteers, and the next meeting is January 24th. And Night of the Races is February 25th. I know that there's about 22 tables left, 6 sponsors, horses. Post-prom is also needs volunteers. And their next meeting, the Athletic Boosters, is February 6th. And that's all I have.
Thank you. On to Mrs. Bartczak.
Thank you, Mr. President. My committees, we're having a committee of the Curriculum and Professional Development Committee meeting on Thursday, so I don't have anything to report on that, but we're gonna go over some of the things and go over some of the things that we're doing, some things that we're doing differently, and hopefully see what we're doing to make some changes in a positive direction. If anyone would ever like to speak to me about anything school board related, they can always call me at 216-406-4304, and Happy New Year.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
Thank you. On to Mr. Slattery.
Thank you. I'm also on the committee with Bonnie, so we have the meeting on the 19th, so looking forward to that. Facilities, we have not had a meeting. Dr. Ted and Mrs. Neale will be scheduling that. Rec Board, the last 2 months have been canceled, but we have one coming up, I think Thursday night. I'll check my calendar, I'll bring back whatever comes from there. At the last one, it was stated that they need at least $9 million just in repairs and updates, just to keep it at the level that we have right now. So, there's quite a bit of work to be done there. And then for city council liaison, we have a new mayor. Katie Gallagher stepped down. City council has an opening, so they're interviewing for spots. There's actually interviews going on right now and then tomorrow, and they're supposed to name the new party tomorrow. So we will all wait to see who our next council representative is. Other than that, I have nothing.
Okay, I might have the longest report here. All right. Technology, Mr. Wallace and I poked my head in his office, told him we need to get a meeting together, so we'll get that to you. I am on the Polaris Career Board. They have wonderful food there, as we all know. They are updating their website. It's gonna be an interactive website, a little more spiffy. We have a new board member from Berea, Doug Schwind. And then I do want to read something. Last week at Polaris held their annual community open house, which was very well attended. Enrollment for the next year is again very high, with most programs filled and students on a waiting list. So far, 52% of the Brooklyn sophomores have applied to attend Polaris program in the fall. The Polaris board approved a resolution to seek bids for renovating a lab for their pre-vet program. There's a lot of nice programs coming out of there. This is a new offering this year and is already filled for the fall. With current construction costs at a higher price, we are estimating high bids to be over $1.5 million, which Polaris will use PI funds to pay. This is a good example of how the joint, I think that should have been joint venture with Polaris, is providing opportunities to Brooklyn students, as the expense would be out of the reach of any individual district. Lastly, Polaris announced that they will be launching an adult LPN, licensed practice nurse, which, believe me, we all need. Program with the Southwest General Hospital. There's a huge demand for LPNs in the hospital setting, and Southwest General Hospital with funding for scholarships, direct entry into hospital setting. We hope to launch that in the fall. Polaris is doing well. Like I said, we have 63 kids that have applications in there in sophomore class. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And the only other thing that I would like to report, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Slattery, you're gonna have the facilities around the committee assignments for this coming year. We all pretty much said the same thing. We're gonna stay on those committees. So Mr. Slattery, facilities, legislation, myself, is Mrs. Bartczak and I will be on policy, student academic achievement, Mrs. Cyngier and Mr. Cyngier and Mrs. Bartczak. Recreation Board, Mr. Slattery, myself, technology, finance and audit is Mr. Cyngier and Mr. Krall. Miss Krall, I'm sorry. Wellness Committee, Ms. Krall. Curriculum and Professional Development, Mrs. Bartczak or Mr. Slattery, and liaison is Mr. Slattery. Did I miss anything? We added
Domestic violence.
domestic, that's, I know.
Kelly,
We, domestic violence, and then Ms. Krall will be under domestic violence. All right, I just wanted to update that. I knew I missed something. All right, anybody else?
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
When do we vote on the new Polaris, board member from Brooklyn?
You can't. You can't. We've already voted on it.
I know, your wife Sandy tells me you've been gaining a lot of weight lately, eating all that Polaris food. Is there, don't we have to vote?
I think it's this calendar year, at the end of this calendar
Yeah,
year.
at the end of
I'll
this
double
year.
check, but I'm
Is
pretty
it
sure
in
it's
the
it.
calendar?
Yeah, because it was a 2-year and then Jim had the 1 year.
Okay, I wasn't sure how that worked.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I finished
So
this year.
the new Berea
I thought
member.
you had a 3-year.
No.
I thought it was 3. Oh.
Yeah.
I think it goes 3 years.
He wants the 3rd year.
I think when they brought it out, it was a 3rd year. I think there was a 3-year initially.
So the new Berea member replaced Jim's spot.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
So
so Berea has
I
2
think-
members.
I think you're up this, at the end of this.
So we
calendar
don't
year.
have another board member?
No, just
position
me.
in Polaris?
Yeah, just myself.
All right, thank you.
Those guys get jealous because I send them pictures of the food when I leave there.
Isn't the new policy, Mr. Neal, like lifetime employment or something?
I'm working on it, don't worry.
Well, their new building costs 1.5 million, I hate to see what the
When I go
dinners
to
cost.
retire, that's where I'm hanging out, their bakery.
Sandy's Beef Balls are on.
Alright, we're gonna get on to approval of minutes and financial statements. Tonight's reader is Mr. Singer.
Okay, be it resolved that the minutes of the Board of Education meeting be adopted and all action taken by the Board of Education at said meetings is hereby reaffirmed and approved.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be it resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the financial statements of receipts and expenditures for the month of December, including all purchase orders paid and all then and now statements for the month as submitted.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. A, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached memorandum of understanding agreement between the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education and the Brooklyn Education Association, BEA, for the implementation of the 2023-24 Brooklyn City Schools District calendar in Article 310.01 of the current collective bargaining agreement. The MOU is on file at the Treasurer's Office.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? I'll second it. Questions, comments? Say, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the 2023-24 school calendar per the exhibit.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? I'll second it. Questions, comments? Say, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
No.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
No.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the revised classified job descriptions per the attachments. Custodian maintenance, pupil services secretary, secretary to the building principal, head cook, assistant cook.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? This is just language straightened out in the contract, from my
Not
understanding?
contract, just.
I mean, in
the
their job descriptions,
yes.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Ms. A, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following adult chaperones volunteers for the Europe trip, April 7th through the 18th, 2023. Background checks are on file in the board office. They are Jackie Holko, Annie Beer, Kristen Field, Chin Ling Wang, Kevin Meehan, Melissa Meehan, Wendy Smith, James Sullivan and Jim Burba.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Second. Questions, comments?
I have a question. Are they all paying for their trip?
They are.
They
Yeah,
all
they-
do, okay, because we don't get any comped for
We
going
do
on a trip?
not, we do not. Yeah, they pay $2,400 per person to go.
Well, then that's less than what the other kids are paying, because I know when my kid did the trip, this is the Europe trip, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
It was like 4,000 or 5,000. So I'm sure it didn't go down in price, because nothing's gone down in price. Ask anybody who wants to buy any eggs.
Right.
Nothing's gone down in price, so if they're only paying 2,500, are we getting a discount for them because we're going?
I think the fact that they're paying help brings the cost down for the kids.
I'm saying, because if we get any kind of comp, I think these people should all be paying to go.
They are paying
And
They are
I'm
paying.
saying, like, if
They are
they're
paying
full
to go.
amount, I think they should be paying the full amount to go.
What are the kids, I don't know what the kids are
Like,
paying.
there's almost $5,000 is
I
what it
don't
was
know the
before.
answer.
It was
Yeah,
almost
right.
5,000.
We
So,
don't do research on it.
because
But I
then,
don't- then
what
I know
I'm
what you're
saying
saying.
is, what I'm saying is, let's say we get whatever amount of money, like, let's say they would give us 5 people to go free.
Yes,
I think those 5 people should pay, and they should take that amount of money and take it off the trip for all those kids. Some of those kids are working
To
a
get
part-time
this,
job
right,
to
I
go to
understand.
this. I mean, and sacrificing other things. So I don't think anybody on this list should get a discount in any way, or get anything for free and any discount at all without our kids. Our kids should get that. And our families, I think also. I mean, even
you
for
have a
kids,
valid point.
I think our
You have a
families,
valid point.
I think should be getting that discount. I don't think anybody
I-
on here, if you wanna go to Europe, pay the full way.
Do we know what we're paying for?
I
For the
do
kids,
not-
I don't
I
know
do
the
not-
answer.
I
to
do
that
not.
My
question.
daughter's going, but I couldn't tell you
I do not know
what the
what they're paying.
cost is.
They're supervising our kids.
When the last time when I realized, I think it was like 4,000 something, almost 5.
Okay,
So I cannot imagine that it's gone down to 2,500.
all right, so we need to.
So if we don't have,
Well, they're not going
I'm
to.
just saying, they-
hold on,
wanna
hold on. If we don't have chaperones,
We can't.
we can't
go.
send the kids.
Right.
Yes, but I mean, they're also going to Europe. I mean, this is not like we're sending them to Greenfield Village. I mean, they're going to Europe. It's a it's a lifetime thing. It's not like we're sending them like down the road to Parma. I mean, I think if they wanna go to Europe, let them pay their way. I mean, and that savings should go to our kids. I know when my daughter went, there was kids who were working and sacrificing, coming to games, doing extracurriculars, so they could pay for that trip. And you know what, one of the things that they said, the advisors talked about during all those meetings, they said, make your kid work for it, make your kid work for it, make your kid work for it. It'll mean more to them. They're like, make your kid
I
work.
don't disagree to
Well, I
that.
don't disagree with that either, but what I'm saying though is if our kids are paying for it, if we can get a discount, I don't care if we get like 5 people to go free because we have 50 kids going.
I
That
don't
amount of money-
know, I don't know if it works that way I don't know that the company comps anybody anything. I don't know
I would be
that.
surprised if they did.
Yeah, I would.
If they didn't, I'd be surprised if they didn't either, because I know all the other ones they do, they have them for a trip. If you have so many that go, you get so many people free.
Well, they also have to provide in every country that they travel to. I know for sure they have to have an interpreter. They have somebody, a professional that accompanies the whole group. It depends on the size of the group. They assign so many people to that party. So if you have a large crowd, you may only need 1 person. If you have a smaller party, then you would just need 1. Larger party would be 2 people. And so every country, they not only have the chaperone, but they also have to have somebody who works,
Well, I can find out,
works for the
I can find
travel
out the
company.
information about the
Yeah.
finances.
The
that goes to
finances,
board.
I would
Sure.
hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd like to make a motion to table it, so we've got the information on it.
Good
Is
idea.
there a reason I didn't have this presented to me last week when the board had so I could have gotten the information? Is there a reason that we're playing the gotcha game?
We're not
'Cause
playing the gotcha
That's
game.
exactly what we're
We're
doing.
not playing the gotcha
You,
game.
you get the agenda well in advance, and someone could have called me, so I could have had that information to the board.
I have had this discussion with the other board members and with you, okay? So I have had this
And
discussion
it's
before with you.
never been a problem before.
About,
And
I have
it's
had
never
this,
been-
I
and
have
it's
had
never
this
been a
discussion
problem
with you
before.
about that fact of anything that with going forward with, if anybody was getting anything comped, remember I talked about the prices for things, cause I said our kids are working for it. I've sat there
A
and
year
I
ago
have,
or so,
remember,
yeah.
yes,
I know
I
it's
did this,
3
I've
years,
always
we
had
did-
this
Point
thing.
of order.
You got it.
There's a motion to table, there's a motion on the floor to table this item.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
Can I have a second? Second to table. Anybody? I'll second it to table it. We're gonna get all the information, that's all I can tell you. I don't think anything was done on purpose, to be quite honest. We have had this discussion, but it's been a year by year. And has it been recently? Not really. Mrs. Bartczak brought it up, and we'll motion to table. Mrs. A, could you call the roll on 5.2, please?
To table it or?
It's motion to table.
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes. Table.
Mr. Singer?
No.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
No.
Mr. Neale?
Yes, we'll table it. I want the discussion to be out in the open, that's that's the reason why, we'll figure it all out. Was it done on purpose? Was it another gotcha? I don't think it was, to be quite honest. That's my opinion, and I'm gonna stick it with that.
Okay.
All right? Anybody else?
Let's hear our dirty laundry.
Ready?
You got it, go for
Be
it.
resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative employment contract effective August 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2026 for the following administrator: Brian Hare, Principal, Brooklyn High School.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Questions, comments? Someone second it?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think Rob
I'm
did.
sorry. Questions, comments? Ms. A, can you call a roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative employment contract effective August 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2026 for the following administrator: Laura Smith, Assistant Principal, Brooklyn School, PK through 7.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Zay, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached administrative employment contract effective August 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2026. That's Michael Becker, Assistant Principal, Director of Athletics.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Second. Questions, comments? Ms. Zay, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt employment contract effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026 for the following employee: Sherry Godinsky, Secretary of Support Services.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Second. Questions, comments? Ms. Zay, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt employment contract effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026 for the following employee, who is Diana Mayer, Assistant Treasurer 1.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, could you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
No.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt employment contract effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026 for the following employee, that is Karen Smith, Assistant Treasurer 2.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Second. Second. Questions, comments? Mrs. A, could you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following persons for the 2022-23 supplemental coaching assignments with the provision that such individuals comply with all the Ohio High School Athletic Association rules and regulations and the State Department of Education regulations pertaining to proper certification and/or first aid training, and fulfills the requirements of the job description attached to their supplemental contracts. They are Sarah Young, head varsity softball coach; Kevin Sidlasek, head varsity baseball coach; Kyle Atkins, head varsity track coach.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. All right, Mr. Slattery gets second. Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Go.
This means we've got enough athletes to have a girls softball team.
As of now, we do, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Ms. A, could you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Cyngier?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education approves the attached memorandum of understanding between the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education and International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 436 to clarify substitution pay procedures in Article 21-4A of the current collective bargaining agreement. The memorandum of understanding is on file at the Treasurer's Office.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Questions, or have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Ms. A, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Cyngier?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Be resolved the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following administrative employment for the 2022-23 school year,
We're supposed to do
contingent upon.
What's that?
supposed to do the OSBA.
The 7.1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
no,
my,
I'm sorry.
no,
Mr. Singer, it should be motion to approve Ohio School Board Association membership
Right.
Yes,
for
my bad.
2023.
All right, thank you. And then I'm gonna amend that to read 7.1,
So, be
OSBA.
resolved the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the Ohio School Board Association
Contract.
contracted membership for 2023.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second? I'll second it. Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
No.
Mr. Cyngier?
No.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes. All right, 7-1,
Okay, now we go back to the other motion.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Be resolved, the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following administrative employment for the 2022-23 school year, contingent upon the successful completion of background check and verification of credentials. The gentleman's name is John Scott, Financial Treasurer Consultant, effective January 18th, 2023 through July 31st, 2023. John Scott, Interim Treasurer, effective March 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2023.
Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Second.
Questions, comments? Just so everybody knows, Mr. Scott has a wealth of financial background in the school. We sat down with him a week ago, and he's been around many school districts, so we're gonna be perfectly fine. All righty. Anybody else?
I just have a simple question.
Go.
We're given, and if I would've caught this, I would've asked about it earlier. We have the consultant contract from January 18th, but we're given the interim job on March 1st. Wouldn't that contract go from January 18th to March 1st?
So what allows us to do, let's say, the board hires a new treasurer effective
It allows
July
him to
1.
continue to help?
He'll-
Okay.
that's the only reason.
So we don't have to revisit anything.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Good, thank you. Anybody else? Did we vote on that yet? No.
No.
All right. Ms. A, can we vote on that, please? Can you
Mrs.
call the roll?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Cyngier?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes. All right. Yeah. Next up is going to be public discussion. We're gonna have a Ohio School Board Association Treasurer Search presentation by Mr. Will White. All right, I hope I got close, so, appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
All right, just so everybody knows that we are gonna be on the treasurer's search for the upcoming, that was an interim treasurer, who's gonna keep the seat warm, and now we're gonna start looking for a new treasurer from here on out. So appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to share with you tonight, and appreciate your support for membership and also your commitment to the students in this community.
Thank you.
As an elected board member. I myself was a former board member, so I know some of the issues that you face as board members myself. Thanks for giving the opportunity for us to make a short presentation here about how OSBA media will find your new treasurer. Some of the things that I want to talk about is what makes the work with OSBA unique. You may be familiar, there's people that can find you positions, treasurers, other positions that you could hire somebody to do, but why OSBA? We think it's important for you to use search consultants that are familiar with board activity. The three of us that do this work with school boards full-time, and we are all three former school board members ourselves. And so we don't have contractors working for us or others, we're full-time search consultants. And so we believe that the process working with the district needs to be open, honest, transparent. We'll help you follow all the open meeting laws and things like that, because as former school board members and as working for the School Board Association, it's important for us to make sure you do that process well. And so in doing that process, we believe it's important for you to develop some relationships and to figure out a way that you're going to find the new person to fit your district. So one of the steps that we'll talk about here real quickly is putting together a profile for the leader you're looking for, so that the applicants can look at what you're looking for, and we'll hopefully get the applicants that match that profile. And then get that recruitment information out so we can find someone to meet that need. The process I'm going to talk about here is our general process, but we customize it for every district. You may have some unique needs or unique situations that may apply, and so a lot of this we talk about is very flexible, but we'll help and guide you through the process. We'll advise you at every step, but all the decisions will be made by you as the board. One of the things we believe is that the board should make all decisions, obviously, so all candidates will come to you, all their information. We will not be doing any pre-screening or anything. It's the board's decision, but we will help you with the screening, but you'll see everybody that applies. So what sets us apart? We've been doing this for many, many years. Our search has been for over 1,000 searches now. We think it's important that we do a customized approach for you, and so we'll, if we get the opportunity to do this, we'll sit down and design that customized approach. I'll talk a minute here a little bit about two things that are exclusive to us. Our data collection for applications and evaluations called Revelis is unique to OSBA. Nobody other, we have that process, and so does the Achiever, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And one of the things I want to make sure you're aware of is that we have a satisfaction guarantee. If during the process you don't find a candidate, we will continue with the process at no additional charge until you find a candidate in that. It is rare that we have to go through it multiple times, very, very rare actually, but we will help you get through that. So our steps in the process, we would start out with developing the leadership profile first, helping you identify what it is you're looking for in the person. We'll then do the marketing process, and I'll talk about that in a little more detail here in a minute, getting information out to the treasurers, to the Treasurers Association, to the auditor's office, places where candidates might be out there for you for that. Our community engagement step in this is having the information publicly available so that they can see what you're looking for. Our search process is public as far as the brochure and information about the process. We'll keep that engaged for you. We believe our screening process is pretty objective and that you make the decisions in particular. I think that's what's the important part of this is. So that the board, you'll get a board-sending candidate through the evaluation process. And then hopefully we end up with your appointment. So some of the things that we would do, we would advertise it in the OSBA briefcase. You probably get that, but so does a lot of administrators and other treasurers on our website. The brochure that we'll talk about being developed will include the planning timeline and things like that. In our news releases and e-alerts, we handle phone calls and emails. I just did a regional email for another treasurer search, and I got 2 quick contacts already today from that information for that search. So I think our list of potential candidates and those that are involved in schools will be good for you to use in finding you a good candidate. Quick comments about a couple of our products. The Revelis system is our online platform. You will get access to that once the application process would close, where you can screen the applicants. It was developed by OSBA, and it is actually being used by 16 other state boards associations that we have sold it to use also. And so just it's got a lot of good features to it, so the other states are using it also. You'll get a complete background with the certificate of the candidates, all the references, They have a blind evaluation done by their references that you'll see, and they're blind to them, I mean, a form that the references will fill out, you'll get to see that. We have them answer questions, and you'll see some of their answers to a couple or 3 questions that you might have to help your pre-screening process. But this allows you, this system will allow you to go in and take notes individually as we screen the candidates, so when we get together, you can look at the candidates all together. The other thing that we'll do when you get to the finals, we ask the candidates to complete an achiever profile. This is exclusive to OSBA also, and that this profile has benchmarked other treasurers on standards, and you'll get to see your finalists, how they do against those benchmarks. And we'll give you the results. This achiever assessment is pretty lengthy for the candidate to take. It's almost 90 minutes of their time, and so we only use this for finalists in the process. They are behavior-based questions, so they're scenarios, they're kinds of questions that gives you a sense of their, the way they might handle something rather than their specific certification skills and things like
Like
that.
their favorite music or something like that?
Well, probably not that far, but how they might handle situations or controversies or issues, or how they might
Gotcha.
handle things like that. They're given scenarios. It does give you also some post-employment advice. In other words, if you would hire this person, the achiever profile will say, here are some areas of professional development you should consider for this person. There's no such thing as a perfect score on it. Everybody's on a range, and so some people are lower or higher on the range, but as you find candidates, it'll give you recommendations for that. Our screening process, I will be with you for that. If you decide to use us, we'll work through the fit process. In other words, we're going to look at that brochure and say, here are the 6 key characteristics you were looking for. Let's find the candidates that have those characteristics. You'll get to see all their experience, and hopefully we can get that fit to work. The idea behind this is that it's a lot of information. That's why it's all online. They may have 5 or 6 reference letters. They may have a resume. They have their job experiences. You'll have your achiever test results, a lot of other information on there, which makes it a lot easier to do online. One of the other things I believe that's exclusive for OSBA is we have you do the reference work. They're going to be working for you. I will write some good scripts for you to make the phone calls, but we ask the board members to actually do the reference checking. I'll get you a list of references. For a treasurer's position, you're probably going to look at references from their previous board or the previous superintendent, or the current one, but where they would be coming from.
Right.
So you want you to talk one-on-one, board member to board member, to do that. There may be others that may be a part of the reference process, but generally those are the kind of folks that I recommend that I have you talk to. This process normally takes us about 90 days to get through. And so the sooner we start, the sooner you have somebody, but you do have an interim on board now for a time, so that helps push this out a little bit easier to do that. Just some things to give you some timeline here. Contract would be first. I put a sample contract in your folder. When you're comfortable deciding what to do with that, that would be the first thing to do for us. Then we would schedule a planning meeting for you that I'd meet with you like we're doing now, and go through the planning of the profile, the timeline for the screening, how long you might want to have the applications out there, things like that. And then I'll take you through all these steps as we go through. I'll help you write the interview questions for each of the interview rounds. I'll help you write the reference questions. I'll schedule the interviews for you. I'm your facilitator in this process as we go through. Some of the critical points I hope I've made here is all the key decisions are made by you. I will make recommendations. I'll help you facilitate it, but we won't make any of the decisions for you. All board members will get all the information also, since it's working as a group, not as a subcommittee of any kind. We'll make sure all of our processes are fair and transparent, meeting open meeting laws and public record requests. I'll help handle most of those for you, but we'll make sure that meets all those criteria. And then finally, we offer you a customized workshop from our team with you and your new treasurer on how they might work, how you might work together in the future. And that's within 90 days after the start. I've talked about a couple of these other things. Again, if you're unable to find a successful appointment on the first round, we'll reopen it and help you find it still. You've been a member of OSBA for many years, and we really value your membership, And this is a feature that you get as a part of your membership. We don't offer this service to non-members at all. And so that's why it's important for us to only be available to members. Thank you. I've done a lot of talking. I need to open it up for you for questions.
Anybody?
You mentioned tailoring the search to our district. What, in just a quick
Sure.
response, what's that look like? Who do you involve in that to figure out exactly what we are?
It varies from, I'll give you some examples. Sometimes in the interview process, staff gets involved in some districts, and not just the board. Sometimes in the recruiting process, there's others involved in a district that may make a difference. An example would be, do you already have some kind of employment system that you're working with, that we could coincide with? Another one is that we offer background screening opportunities and things like that as an add-on, if you're interested in that. Sometimes people want to know more than what they'll provide on a resume and reference checks. Timeline-wise, we adjust. I'm working with some districts that are on expedited timelines, trying to find somebody in 60 days. So we reduce the interview process down to 1 instead of 2, for example, and things like that. Finally, I would say the biggest thing is that if there's something unique about a process in your system, we're welcome to work it in. I'm just giving you some of the examples.
No, I like the fact that you said that you've extended to some staff, because in all reality, we make the decision, but the staffs they're the ones that are gonna deal with these people on a daily basis,
Yep.
far more than we ever would.
Some groups do the final interviews in a round-robin scenario where the person may interview with the board, followed by some staff group. If it's a superintendent, not so much for a treasurer, we may have a community group in the interview process too.
Thank you.
I have not done a community group with a treasurer, but I've done staff groups.
Anybody else?
Yes, do you utilize OSBA membership for your search?
Oh, we advertise through them, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm sure. And what social media outlets do you advertise? the
Oh,
position?
we have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
You don't use LinkedIn?
Oh, yes, LinkedIn, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, 3 more than you do, right?
I'm sorry, we do.
Thank you. And can you give me some kind of perspective? I know you do the brochure. Over my 11 years being on a school board, I've never found a brochure to be cost-effective. How many candidates have responded to the brochure as far as your solicitation?
I'll answer that in 2 parts. One, we don't print the brochures anymore, so it's only a digital brochure.
Okay, so
that
it's a
saves a
digital.
lot of cost.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're very expensive.
Every candidate I know downloads it because nearly every question I get is something from that brochure,
Okay, so it's digital only,
digital only.
but there's a cost still involved in setting it up.
It's included in the cost.
Okay,
The only additional cost would be if you wanted printed versions, actually. That would be additional cost.
and one of my fellow board members mentioned this when we first had this discussion. I think it's very pertinent. Do we see all the applications that are submitted?
Yes.
Okay. In your presentation, you say references will be checked by the board members. So it'll be our responsibility to basically do the background checks and the references given to you by the applicants? Or let me finish up.
Go ahead, yep.
Because I'm a little confused there. So the background checks and other due diligence, that's offered by OSBA?
The formal background checks, if you're talking criminal records,
records.
financial records, or credit reports, we have agencies that do it for us,
Okay.
and that is an additional cost, if you
Okay.
want that done. We have you do the reference checking,
Okay.
and that's calling their references. It may or may not be ones they recommend to us. I'll help you identify who you'd like to talk to. I mean, for example, I think you ought to talk to many of the board members of the district the person is coming from, even if they don't put them on their reference list.
Yeah, we've done that in the past.
Yeah.
It's been pretty successful. The question I have as well, as far as references in background checks, if we have applicants that come in from out of state,
It's possible because our system is posted in 16 states, yes.
okay. So is the background check expanded to also those candidates? who may have held a treasurer position outside of Ohio?
If they are your finalist, we don't recommend you pay that expense of doing that formal background check unless they are your final candidate.
Yeah, yeah,
So if they were, and you want to do that, absolutely.
okay, good. All right. And that should do it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good questions. Anybody else? Kelly? Bonnie?
What's the cost for all the background checks? Do you know? Because I know it's 7,500 or what is the total?
I
9,500?
don't have the exact cost, because it's going to depend if you want to do criminal only, you want to do education, background check, in other words, do they really have their degrees, do they really have their licenses, not just saying they do, or do you want to go a third level, is even credit checks. And I don't have that, but I can get that for you.
So that's an additional?
That's
not
additional, yes.
included?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that include bonding, excuse me?
That would be up to your own licensing,
Yeah,
insurance,
go ahead.
your own insurance agent would be handling that.
Okay, so the applicants, we would know that they're bondable.
We would try to find that out for you through your insurance candidate, your insurance company,
Okay.
because they'll have to bond through your insurance company.
Right. Anybody else? Everybody's good? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Let me know. You got my card in there if you have other questions or comments.
You got it. Appreciate it. Thank
No
you.
problem.
Be safe going home.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna go on to, anybody have any correspondence related to action information? Nope. Any other business? Dates, times, anything we need to correct? Announcement of the next meeting of Board of Education is gonna be Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. Treasurer's Office, Conference Room 9200 Bedoff, Brooklyn, Ohio, at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Bartczak?
Yes.
Mr. Cyngier?
Yes.
Mrs. Krall? Yes. Mr. Slattery?
Yes.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.